Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari, and in my today's class we are going to learn what is agreement and what is a contract. Now we are going to understand all the provisions related to agreement and contract. Along with that, we are also going to study the difference available between the agreement and contract, and we also look into a case law which is connected to agreement and contract. With that brief introduction, I am getting into my first slide, which is all about an agreement. An agreement is a combination of offer and acceptance. Imagine you have two movie tickets and you would like to go for that movie along with your friend. You're calling your friend and ask whether he would like to join with you. Now you have made an offer, and if he is agreeing for the same, then that is called acceptance, and when that cycle completes, that is known as agreement. There is one person who is offering and there is another person who is accepting, and when both are combined, an agreement is ready. The term offer is defined under Contract Act Section 2A, which says when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. Imagine there is a person who is offering for the purpose of what? To do or abstain from doing anything, and he would also expect that the other person will act or abstain. So that is all about offer. And what is an acceptance? Acceptance is defined under section 2B of the act, which says when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. See, they are always using the term proposal, and when it comes to Indian context, instead of using the term offer, we are using the term proposal in the act. An agreement is defined under section 2E, which says every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. One important thing you need to observe here is there is nothing called legal obligation which arises out of agreement. For example, a husband invites his wife for a dinner and wife agrees for the same, that becomes an agreement. And if husband come late from the office and if he couldn't take his wife to dinner, can she put a case against him? No, because that is an agreement. Likewise, in my first case, I said your friend, he agreed that he will join you for the movie, but if he cannot join you for the movie for some or the other reasons, can you put a case against him? Or do you have an intention to bring a legal obligation? No, right? That is social agreement. Now there are few parties which are involved in social agreement, like husband and wife or any blood relatives or other relations where natural love and affection is available. So all these are social agreement, and you are not having any mind of bringing legal obligation for those parties. Now, what if you want to bring that legal obligation in your business contract or other stuff? That is what exactly we are going to learn in our next slide. Now that we know what is an agreement, agreement is a combination of offer and acceptance. So what is contract? Contract is a furtherance of agreement, which says a combination of agreement and which is enforceable by law is a contract. If any agreement which is enforceable by law, then that becomes contract. Contract is defined under section 2H as an agreement enforceable by law is contract. Now imagine a case, A wants to sell his car for rupees 5 lakhs and B wants to buy that car for rupees 5 lakhs, then that is a contract between A and B. Hope that makes very clear. Now let us have a glance on few important definitions as far as contract is concerned. The Indian Contract Act 1872 section 2H defines a contract as an agreement enforceable by law. So it says it is an agreement which is enforceable by law. Sir Frederick Pollock says a promise or set of promises which the law will enforce. So again, here it is about the agreements as well as the enforceability by law is contract as per Sir Frederick Pollock. Now Halsbury's definition is quite large, which covers most of the aspect of a contract. He says it is an agreement between two parties which is intended to have enforceability by law. Then he is also bringing the term acceptance by one party. So he brings an important term of acceptance as far as contract is concerned, and then he says the other party will do or abstain from doing some act by coming into such legal enforceability. That is quite a large and beautiful definition by Halsbury. Whereas Salmon kept it very easy and small by saying a contract is an agreement creating and defining obligation between the parties. He says there is obligation between the parties. That means both the parties will have obligation when they are coming into an agreement as far as a contract is concerned. Now, one important term that you need to remember is all the contracts are consensus ad idem. That means identity of mind of both the parties is very essential, and contract gives only right in personam. That means right against individual but not right in rem. That means right against the entire world. You will get right against those with whom you are coming to a contract. With that, let us move to the differences between contract and agreement. Let us discuss few important differences between contract and agreement. Contract is discussed under section 2H of the Act by saying a contract is an agreement enforceable by law. Agreement is discussed under section 2E by saying every promise or every set of promises forming consideration for each other is an agreement. As far as enforceability is concerned, every contract is legally enforceable, whereas every promise or agreement is not legally enforceable. The interrelationship between contract and agreement: a contract includes an agreement, whereas an agreement does not include a contract. Now, scope of the contract is quite limited because it considers only commercial agreements, whereas the scope of agreement is quite wider because it consists both the commercial as well as social agreements. As far as validity is concerned, contract is only legal agreements, whereas the agreement can have both legal as well as illegal agreements. The legal obligation part of contract is quite clear. Every contract contains a legal obligation, whereas it is not necessary for every agreement to have legal obligation. Those are the few important differences available between contract and agreement. Welcome to the world of case laws. Contract 1 is all about case laws because they will be giving problems to you in the exam, and you have to define the problem and answer those problems along with the set case laws available. Now, the biggest case law as far as the agreement versus contract is Balfour versus Balfour. This is the first case law that I am going to discuss as far as contract 1 is concerned. Now, what happened in this case? Husband and wife were happily living in England, and husband gets a job in Ceylon. And while moving to Ceylon, he says to his wife that he will be sending 30 pounds every month to his wife. And then he moves to Ceylon, and after reaching there, he starts sending 30 pounds every month to his wife. But after few months, he stops doing the same. Now, his wife goes to court and put a case against him, and it was held in this case that this is a social agreement and hence it is not legally enforceable. The agreement between husband and wife, blood relatives, or with those people with whom you have natural love, care and affection, then those are social agreements and not legally enforceable, which is what held in Balfour versus Balfour case. Now, one important aspect that you need to remember is every agreement is not a contract, whereas every contract will have an agreement within it. Now, I very clearly told an offer plus acceptance is an agreement which can be a social agreement as well as commercial agreement, whereas an agreement which is legally enforceable by law is a contract. So, contract will have offer, acceptance and legally enforceable by law. So, that is one important aspect you need to remember. That brings an end to the discussion on agreement and contract. While I say this is an end to this particular topic, it brings a new topic, that is what is offer, what is acceptance. So I am going to discuss all about offer in my next video, And till then, if you have subscribed me, thank you so much. If you have not yet subscribed me, please subscribe me now. And please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are watching my video. And thanks again.